I call this November 6th regular session of the Oconee County Board of Education to order. First thing we need is a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Burgess?
Second.
Mr. Ransom, all in favor? Passes 5-0. Next, we need a motion to approve the minutes from our October 16th regular session.
So moved.
Mr. Hammack?
Second.
Ms. Parrish, all in favor? Passes 5-0. Next, we have recognitions. Mr. Colquitt, welcome.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Branch. We've got some special folks to recognize tonight, so if I get you to come forward, and while you're doing that, I'll remind everyone this month's art display in the hallway is courtesy of Oconee County High School, and their instructor is Bess Carter. You can see a little bit of their work right there. First tonight, the board will recognize the November Pursuit of Excellence Award winner in the category of Service Employees. Mr. Chuck Moore of Dove Creek Middle School will receive a $50 Visa gift card, an umbrella from Peach State Federal Credit Union. Chops and Hops and Rosie's Hometown Meats donated additional gift cards, and a commemorative plaque from Oconee County Schools will be presented. Mr. Moore. These are some of the comments that were made of Mr. Moore for his nomination. Mr. Moore worked tirelessly to prepare for the opening of Dove Creek Middle. He has gone above and beyond for our school community. He takes a great deal of pride and ownership of our beautiful facility and keeps it immaculate. You do not see him standing still. He is the first to offer help and will make sure that everything you ask for is done and done well. He takes pride in being the one we all can depend on to get the job done. No matter the task, he is pleasant, positive, and ready to help. He always has a friendly smile on his face. His light-hearted sense of humor makes him a favorite among the staff. He is often the first each morning to greet staff with his contagious smile and laughter. You can always find him after school cheering on our teams and supporting students in their academic accomplishments. His dedication to Dove Creek Middle is unmatched. As a new head custodian, he works closely with the building staff and his supervisors. He encourages feedback and applies what he learns so that he may continue to improve. The Dove Creek Middle family could not be more proud to call him our head custodian and our friend. The November Pursuit of Excellence winner, Mr. Chuck Moore.
Okay.
I'll kind of do this.
Yeah. Chuck, stand still. Yes, sir.
Hold on, please.
Want me to smile?
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Work.
I enjoy it. As hard as those people work there, it's easy to work hard.
Next, the board will recognize the 23-24 OCS community partners who support the schools in multiple ways. I will call each organization forward, and then we will take a group photo in another room afterwards. So if you'll meet me in the hallway after the last name is called. Akins Ford, represented by Allison Best. Bank South, represented by Noah Huggins. Chick-fil-A Epps Bridge, represented by John Collette. Chops and Hops, represented by Melanie Atkins. Georgia Home Partners, represented by Danielle Greer and Amara Deckett. Georgia United Credit Union, represented by Ken Chanowski. Hayward Allen Toyota Motor Company, represented by Derek Ponick. Oconee County Chamber of Commerce, represented by Courtney Bernardi. Oconee State Bank, represented by Haley Reed. Piedmont Athens Regional, represented by Ken Wells and Delina Brockman. Walton EMC, represented by Jeff Paul. And Zachary's of Watkinsville, represented by Nick Faulkner. We thank all the OCS community partners for what they do for our schools and our community.
Group so large, we have to take it outside.
They're gonna do a picture right here with all the, Steve, you need all the board members?
No, just this group.
Just this group. Okay.
Well, we're going to try to do this outside if we got a little bit of light, but that's maybe definitely got light.
Graduation.
Next on our agenda is Points of Pride, and we're going to welcome Oconee County High School. Welcome, Dr. Yancey.
Thank you, Ms. Argo. Board of Education and Dr. Branch, thank you all for the opportunity to share with you tonight. It's always a great opportunity to get out and brag a little bit on Oconee County High School. Tonight we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about our adaptive PE program and more specifically our peer helpers that are involved in this program. Tonight with me I have Coach Tanner, who leads this program. We have a peer helper, Josie Shoemaker, and they're going to lead us through this presentation, and I'll come back and close it out. But you can see Coach Tanner is currently our Teacher of the Year. He's been with Oconee County Schools since 2011 and has taught this class on or off for about 7 years. And you'll be able to see the impact that not only that this program has on the students that we serve, but also our peer mentors and peer helpers. And this time I'll turn it over to Coach Tanner and Josie.
Dr. Branch, members of the board, thank y'all for having me today. And as Dr. Yancey said, my name is Kyle Tanner. And the highlight of my day, the highlight of my job, and the highlight of my career is teaching the adaptive PE program. It's truly a great program that I think brings a lot to all of our students. So what is adaptive PE? Adaptive PE is an all-inclusive PE class that brings together the general ed students and the adaptive curriculum students. We have 2 adaptive classrooms, and we bring them together with our general ed students for a PE class. What this entails is our students from the general ed setting, beginning in January, go through an application process with me. They pick up an application, they apply to be in the class, they go through a little interview, and we pick students to be in the class to serve as peer helpers. So the way we look at it is we adapt curriculum to teach our students in the adaptive setting. We need to adapt physical education so that they may also get a full educational experience. And to do that, to make that successful, we need the peer helpers. The peer helpers are very critical to this process. We have 10 this semester, and they partner up with our different students of varying ability levels and help them get through many of the different things we do in class. And they're very critical to this program. And one of them is with us here tonight, Josie Shoemaker, and she's going to speak about her experiences in the class.
Hey, so as Coach Tanner said, I'm Josie Shoemaker. I'm a senior. I've got to pull up my notes really quick because I will talk about this class for literally an hour. So as I said, I'm a senior and I've got the privilege to be a part of this class this year, and it's just been so amazing. I've learned a lot of things through this class, and one of those being how to adapt, especially to each kid and their unique set of skills. As Coach Tanner said, we have 2 different classrooms, so each kid's ability varies. And as helpers, we learned at the beginning of the year, each student has their own triggers as well as things that they enjoy doing. Some of the students are shy, and it's taken a few classes, but we've been able to break them out of their shell. Some of the students are very competitive, and so while we facilitate competitions in the games, we also make sure they aren't too rough on the kids who are maybe less competitive or less skilled or just don't want to be like that for that day. And there are also some kids who struggle some days with listening or paying attention, and we've bonded with these kids and we just know what makes them pay attention and just what gets them to participate. And in addition to this, we've learned how to problem solve and adapt to the days that are maybe a little bit different, whether it's a schedule change. We went to Special Olympics last week and that was different. We did a whole pizza party and it was great. And if some of the kids are hyperactive and we're just having a really excited day, then maybe we need to go outside, get some fresh air. And just overall, this class has taught me a lot about not being a leader, but just being comfortable with change and spontaneity. I mean, you have to obviously lead the class, but you work with people instead of trying to manage everything else. And this class is the highlight of my day every day, and it's definitely a highlight of my career at OCHS.
Thank you, Josie. And this class doesn't just, as Josie said, doesn't just extend to what we do in the gym, as you see a few pictures there. It goes outside the gym. It goes outside the class. A big thing that our peer helpers do is they don't just work with the students in PE, they build relationships. And that's one of the things we focus on, is building these relationships. And another way that is done is through supporting them in Special Olympics. We compete in the Winter Special Olympics in bowling and in basketball. Last week we went in bowling. And in the spring we will go and we will have track and field at Oconee County High School as well for Special Olympics. And each student is paired with a peer helper, and they kind of have their own cheering section. Their own person to follow them around, make sure they're getting where they need to be, and to cheer them on during their event. And also, we like to have a lot of fun too. That's one of our 3 biggest rules in adaptive PE. Is it safe? Is it fun? Will it get them moving? And we focus a lot on the fun too. So during different parts of the year, our peer helpers will take on the role of leading Halloween activities, Christmas parties, end of the year celebrations, different things to just really get our students involved, and it really goes a long way to building those relationships. For instance, we had if you've ever been to a high school pep rally, there's a lot going on at a high school pep rally. There's a lot of sounds. There's a lot of yelling. There's a lot of people. It's sensory overload for me. And some of our students have issues with sensory issues, with all the noises and all the things going on. So we decided we needed to have a pep rally that was scaled down a little bit, but they could still really enjoy. And that's what we did. In October, we had one of our peer helpers that's a cheerleader led 2 different groups. We had a competing blue side and white side in a pep rally. And it still brought the homecoming spirit to our students, still got them up chanting and celebrating, and really made them feel like a part of it. And again, that's because our peer helpers really encouraged everyone to get up, encouraged everyone to get involved, and as you see, one of them is a cheerleader, led it for us as well. One thing that we're also going to do this year, we kind of ran a dry version of it last year of we had a Warrior Day field day at Oconee County High School that was just the high school, just our adaptive students. And it went well. We did that with the intention of maybe we could make this bigger. Maybe we could do a field day that included everyone, that was specifically targeted to our adaptive students. And that's what we plan to do this year. We plan to bring together all of our adaptive classrooms from the blue side and bring them to Oconee County High School and have a Warrior Day Field Day, which will involve our, be greatly involved with our peer helpers. They will lead all of our events. They'll lead all of the award ceremonies. They will spearhead this, and we're really looking forward to it. It's something I've marked on my calendar that I'm really excited about. And through these interactions our students have had, many of them have gone on to become educators and to pursue a field in education. And this is a video from 3 of our past peer helpers that are currently majoring in education or special education and how the class affected them.
I was a part of the adaptive PE program my senior year in high school, and I really do think that it impacted my life. I was set to be a physical therapy major going into college, and in my senior year, I joined the adaptive PE program, and I was influenced by just hanging out with the students, meeting them, getting to know them. I really do think that this program is influential and important. This is like one of the only interactions that we get with the self-contained students, and I think that being able to bridge that gap is so important. I think adaptive PE does a great job in that.
I got to participate in adaptive PE my senior year, and it was by far the most influential part of my high school experience. As someone who knew she wanted to go into education, this program further developed me as a future educator by showing me the importance of providing opportunities for all students regardless of their needs. The setting and the culture of this program was not only extremely beneficial for students with disabilities, but it was also such a joyful and encouraging experience.
I'm majoring in special education at Georgia Southern University, and the whole reason I was led to special education was because of this program, Adaptive PE. There's so many factors that I could talk about that influenced me into this, but the main one is that you went to this class and you couldn't help but leave in a better mood. If you were having a bad day or in a bad mood, as soon as you stepped into this class, all of that was irrelevant. And you looked forward to it, you couldn't help but be in a great mood while doing it, and you left feeling better about yourself. So it not only taught me so much about others, but a lot about myself and a lot about how I can interact with others and make others feel that positive energy as well. I could not imagine a life and a career without this, and I'm beyond grateful that I had this opportunity to be in adaptive PE and experience this.
It's a pretty powerful. There we go. It's a pretty powerful message from 3 outstanding students and Josie as well. Just the impact that they receive from being in this class. One additional note: the last young lady, Lucy Hunt, on her own when she was in college, created what she calls a yearbook surprise foundation, and she raises money to buy yearbooks for every student that's in the adaptive classes. So she did that on her own, and we're very proud of all 4 students, and very grateful for Coach Tanner and all that he does with not only the adaptive students but our peer helpers as well. So thank you guys for listening this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Yancey, Coach Tanner, and Josie. Next, we have Superintendent's Report. Dr. Branch.
Yes, ma'am. Board members, that's a hard act to follow, so great job, Josie, and all involved on that, and kudos to the good work taking place in our schools on a daily basis. Most of my report today will focus on that, and many of these things hopefully you've seen already, but once again we have lots of celebrations as it relates to our schools. Oconee County Elementary and Oconee County Primary were named Blue Ribbon Lighthouse Schools of Excellence. There are only 289 of those schools in the United States, and 8 of those are currently in Oconee County. So congratulations to Oconee Elementary and Oconee Primary for the outstanding work that they've done, that they really do on a daily basis, but as we talked about, now that's been recognized by individuals outside of our state and that do this on a regular basis, and so congratulations to them. We also want to point out that it's National School Psychology Week, and that begins today, runs through Friday, and so we want to show our appreciation for Scott Eversole, Suzanne Crumpton, and Crystal LaDuff for their role in the educational process that supports our students and the good work that they do. Thanksgiving is coming up. I know that's not lost on anyone in this room. But what you may not know is that we are beginning the Thanksgiving feast starting this week. Those will be taking place this week and next week, and there will be lots of turkey and dressing and all the treats being served, and just an outstanding thing that we do for our community. I know many of you have experienced it with your own children, grandchildren in our school system, and something I want to thank our nutrition staff for going above and beyond, and our admin staffs, all of our school leaders really, for welcoming and creating this environment that brings in thousands of individuals to our school system that may otherwise not be there. That may be the only time that they have a reason to come to school, and so we appreciate that. And that begins, I believe the first one is Wednesday, Malcolm Bridge Middle School. There you go. So, setting the bar. We also have Veterans Day assemblies and ceremonies beginning this week to proudly salute our heroes and veterans. Those begin Wednesday as well and run through Friday, so lots of wonderful opportunities there for our students to learn and grow, and for our community to be recognized. The next title of this area that I'm talking about says perfection at the top of it. We had John Nesbitt and William Yin at Oconee County High School make perfect 1600s on the SAT. I have confirmed with Dr. LaDuff that if you add ours together, you might get close to that. But that's a story for a different time, but we want to congratulate those young people, as well as Sung Han Sun at North Oconee, who made a 5 on her ACT drawing exam. She's one of only 308 students in the entire world that have done this in the art category. So just some phenomenal perfection taking place in our schools and by our students. I want to congratulate those students and also the educators and family members that have poured into them. A couple of last things here, sports updates. As you hopefully have seen as well, we've had a lot of great success cross country. The Oconee County Boys Cross Country team won the state championship. It's back-to-back state championships for them. And Cooper Timberman won the individual state championship. We also had Oconee County girls get 3rd in the state, and North Oconee's girls were 9th, and North Oconee's boys were top 10. So all 4 of our cross-country teams in the top 10. Oconee County High School volleyball was state runner-up for the 2nd year in a row, I believe. So once again, playing for a state championship. North Oconee softball concluded their season as 3rd in the state. And our football teams are in the playoffs. Oconee County will be hosting Douglas on Friday as the number 2 seed in AAA, and North Oconee will be hosting Pace Academy on Saturday afternoon as the number 1 seed with 4A. So also North Oconee's 1-act play won the region championship, and the state championship competition is Saturday as well. So lots of great things going on. Appreciate the board continuing to support those extracurricular opportunities that are so important to round out our students' experiences, and you heard about some of that in the report today in terms of those experiences. Final thing I'd say is we did put this out on social media, but this has occurred since we last came together. I want to congratulate the board on your leadership and recognition as an exemplary board by the Georgia School Boards Association for yet another year, demonstrating what we always talk about, that it's very important to have foundational leadership that supports all the great work that's taking place. So congratulations to all our students, schools, and to you board members for the great work that you're helping support in the league. That concludes Superintendent's report, unless there are questions.
Mr. Burgess?
Just a comment. Jason, I appreciate you bringing forward some of these things and sort of putting them out there for the record about incredible things going on in the school system. Especially the example of the 3 students you mentioned who reach perfection. You know, 1,600 on an SAT and being one of 300 to make a score on an AP exam. I mean, that's pretty remarkable. That's pretty remarkable. You won't read about those things in our local newspaper. You won't hear about that from bloggers who write about what goes in our school system. So I think it's important that you bring those forward, at least put them out there for people who are interested in what's going on in our school system to recognize incredible work, incredible effort, incredible preparations going on in a really good school system, as opposed to what a lot of people want to focus on more negative things and are not student-related things that you're bringing forward. So I appreciate you bringing that, and I appreciate Stephen doing the hard work to put that out on our website so that people who are interested in follow those things and who are interested in some of the positive things going on in our school system can follow that and know about what's going on, and kudos to these 3 students. That's just incredible, so appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Green.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we have presentations and discussions. First, we have teaching and learning. Welcome, Dr. Stansel.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. The November 2023 Teaching and Learning Report contains 6 items of information and no action items. The first item of information is the REACH Scholarship. Oconee County Schools held our 5th annual REACH signing ceremony on Wednesday, October 4th. 5 8th grade students were recognized for being selected to receive the REACH Georgia Scholarship, a $10,000 scholarship to attend any Georgia Hope-eligible post-secondary institution. REACH Georgia is a school community partnership and would not be possible without the support of our local business community. The following businesses donate $4,000 annually to support the REACH Scholarship Program: Oconee State Bank, Bank South, Athens Ford, Georgia Home Partners Realty, and Peach State Credit Union. Congratulations to our top 5 student scholarship recipients. The second item of information is an update on the 2023 ACT results. The first chart shown here illustrates that Oconee County Schools earned a 24 ACT score, which is an increase from last year. This is well above the state score of 21.3 and the national score of 19.5. The second chart shows the number of OCS test takers from the class of 2023. The third chart in the report displays the rankings for the top 10 districts in the state. OCS is ranked 3rd in the state, which is also an increase from last year. OCS also achieved the highest ACT score in Northeast Georgia. Congratulations to all of our students, parents, teachers, and administrators on these results. The third item of information is an update on the 2023 graduation rate. The first chart shows that the Oconee County Schools 2023 graduation rate is 96.79, which is well above the state rate of 84.4. The second chart details the subgroup graduation rates. This third chart shows the rankings. OCS is again ranked 1st in the state. Congratulations to all of our students, parents, teachers, and administrators on this achievement. I especially want to commend Mr. Carter and Dr. Yancey for their leadership and their dedication to our students' success. The fourth item of information is an update on our school improvement visits. The strategic plan and school improvement plans are reviewed on an ongoing basis and posted on the system and school websites. The Teaching and Learning Department visits each school multiple times a year to review the school improvement plans and offer support from the district office. The strategic plan and school improvement plans are updated on an ongoing basis as data becomes available and are used to monitor progress throughout the school year. OCS continues to be transparent by communicating our results to the community using a measurable system improvement plan that is accessible on the district website and through Assembly. A huge thank you to our principals for their hard work and continued improvement at each school. The fifth item of information is the Georgia DOE Literacy Leader Award. Richard Woods, Georgia's state school superintendent, presented Literacy Leader banners to Rocky Branch Elementary School, Dove Creek Elementary School, and High Shoals Elementary Schools, based on their efforts on the milestones exams last year. only 155 schools across the state were recognized as literacy leaders, and only 70 of those received the award for this outstanding achievement that our schools received. Our schools were among those. In addition, the 3 schools named in our district were also the only schools in our entire RESA who received this distinction. The 6th item of information is an update on our strategic planning process. As you can see, we've checked lots of things off on our timeline, and at this point, we're at November of 2023, and this Thursday, we will have our strategic planning team meeting. In January, we will follow that up with our action team meetings, and then start the work developing our goals, initiatives, and action steps, and then start getting ready to bring this plan to you guys later this spring. So that concludes the teaching and learning report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Stanton. Next, we have technology. Welcome, Dr. White.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Branch. Technology has 2 action items for tonight's board regular session meeting. The first action item is our wide area network. The wide area network carries our local and internet traffic. Cody County Schools posted a request for proposal for our wide area network on September 20th, 2023, and closed on October 20th, 2023. Superintendent's recommendations for the Board of Education to approve purchasing this service from AT&T with a bid of $9,453.07 a month at tonight's meeting. This project will be paid for using E-rate and general fund dollars. Our second action item is our winter technology surplus list. This is based on our current replacement cycle. These items have been identified as surplus based on our replacement cycle. The superintendent's recommendations for the Board of Education to approve this surplus list at tonight's meeting. That concludes technology's report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. Next, we have business services. Welcome, Mr. Smith.
Good evening. So business services has 7 items on information tonight that makes up our October report. So the first report is the cash balance report, which shows the balances at the end of October in all of our various funds. Second report is the October vendor report, which illustrates all of the vendor payments that we have made in the month of October. Third report is the budget report. I remind you that this report comes in 3 different sections. The first is the revenue section, any revenue collected as of the end of October. The second page is the summary by function, and then all the remaining pages are function and major object. Fourth item is the October ELOS collections report. We did have a little bit of a dip this month, but if you look down, it's like following a bumblebee. It goes up and down. Even though it did go down a little bit this month, we're still almost 5% above where we were a year ago. And our rolling average is about 16% above last year. The next report is the ELOS 5 report. Remind you, it comes in 2 different pages. The first one here is the revenue page, and then that's followed by the green and yellow expenditure page. Item number 6 is the same report for ELOS 6. We have our revenues, we have our expenditure side, and then we have our federal funds report. Remind you, federal funds are paid to us on a reimbursement basis, so there's always a time lag between collections and the expenditures on those. That includes the business services report.
Any questions? Mr. Burgess?
Just a comment. Dan, I too noticed the drop in the ELOS collections from what had been months and months and months of double-digit increases, which was just kind of hard to imagine how long they could go on. So I assumed at some point we returned to some sense of normalcy on a 5 or 6 increase. But then I look back at the 5% increase that we got this month, and what was that a year ago? And that was over a month a year ago that was almost 18%. So that's a 5% increase on top of what? An 18% increase a year ago. So it's still growing at a significant
Yeah,
clip.
very well.
It's just finally slowed down to something that's maybe more reasonable as opposed to what we've been seeing the last 18 months, so interesting. But I do want to say, your predecessor didn't have to didn't have to preside over any 5% increases. She always brought in 12, 14%.
I'll work on that next month.
Thank you. Next, we have Human Resources. Welcome, Mr. Cofer.
Tonight, Human Resources Report for the November 6th Board of Education contains one item of information and one action item. Our item of information is an update on our open enrollment process. I'm happy to report that we have concluded another successful open enrollment period for our faculty and staff. Annually, our employees have a 3-week window to sign up for and or to make changes to both their state health benefit plan and their supplemental benefits that are offered by the district. These supplemental benefits include dental, vision, long and short-term disability, as well as the recently added legal coverage, to name a few. Each year, members of the HR team visit our schools and the transportation facility to offer assistance during the open enrollment window. This year, Suzanne Graves and Dr. Lisa Manaroff sat down one-on-one with just over 300 employees to provide guidance and help navigate the benefit enrollment process. I'm incredibly thankful for their efforts and know that the value of educating our staff on the benefits available to them is worth the time invested. Our action item for this evening is the 2025-2026 academic calendar. Our action item is going to be presented based on what we listened or heard from our advisory groups and the insight that we received from them as it relates to our school calendar. This year, the consensus was to continue with our model of ensuring that we start on the first Wednesday in August, have 90 instructional days in each semester, and conclude the school year with students before Memorial Day. The calendar we have prepared for the 2025-2026 school year reflects these 3 guiding pillars, and the superintendent recommends that the board approve the placement of this calendar on the table for public review and comment. And that concludes what Human Resources has prepared, unless there are any questions.
Any questions?
I have a question about the calendar. Is there any feedback on a week-long fall break?
Yes, sir, there was, but ultimately the advisory panel felt like sticking with what we've always done is probably in the best interest.
Anyone else? Thank you. Next, we have our Associate Superintendent's Report. Welcome, Dr. Liddell.
Thank you, Ms. Argo. Good evening, everybody. The Associate Superintendent's Report contains 2 items of information and 4 action items for tonight. The first item of information is school safety. We discussed at last month's meeting that we were awarded the Safer Schools Georgia grant, which is a competitive grant from the Georgia Department of Education. Just wanted to make the board aware that technology and operations has been working together to develop some requests for proposals that will go out probably in the next week or so. And the purpose of those is to seek proposals for additional access controls and cameras for our school system throughout. The second item of information is our school nutrition participation. As you can see there, very happy to report that the breakfast and lunch participation both went up when compared to October of the previous school year. The first 3 action items are field trips. North Oconee High School cross country. I'd like to travel to Huntsville, Alabama, December 1st and 2nd. Malcolm Bridge Middle School band and chorus would like to go to Charlotte, North Carolina, March 22nd through 23rd of 2024. And the Oconee County High School cross-country team would like to go to Cary, North Carolina this month, November 18th and 19th. The superintendent's recommendation is to approve those trips as presented. And the 4th action item is a combination oven at Malcolm Bridge Elementary School. Superintendent's recommendation is to approve the combination oven for Malcolm Bridge Elementary School for a total cost of $44,148.90. This will be paid for with the Georgia Department of Education equipment grant as well as school nutrition funds. This concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Tell us what a combination oven is.
I was ready. I've been asking. You can ask.
I don't have one of those.
How many turkeys do you cook in that?
I don't know how many turkeys, but I know it does multiple things. It bakes, it steams, and does something else.
Does it wash clothes as well?
Not yet, but we're looking for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Student Services. Welcome, Ms. Corngo.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Branch. Student Service Division for November 6, 2023 contains 4 information items and no action items. Our first information item is on our developmental screeners. Our developmental screeners are held monthly by appointment as part of our child find procedures under special education. This is mandated under IDEA. These children from ages 3 to 5 are eligible to be screened. The screening includes the speech, hearing, and vision of ages 3 through 5. The results of the screenings are then determined to see if they need further intervention, if an evaluation is needed, or if additional services that they may not already have. Oconee County Special Education Department believes that early identification and early intervention leads to a very positive early experience for children who are at risk of having developmental delays. These screenings are posted on our webpage. They're in the Oconee Enterprise, and they also are shared with our local daycares. Item number 2 is on school choice. Our school choice application will open November 17th, and the deadline is January 19th. All the information for school choice will be shared on our social media pages, our webpage, and also an email will be sent out to all parents and guardians. The third information item is about the Georgia Health Survey. The Georgia Health Survey is an anonymous statewide survey instrument that identifies school safety and climate issues that impact our student achievement in our schools. The parent survey was started on October 9th, and that will end March 1st. Our staff survey will start January 2nd, and our student survey will go out on February 5th through March 1st as well. The fourth item of information is our yearly Manufacturing Institute that we do. This training is offered through High School High Tech, which is part of GVRA. It's a 3-day training. It's for both of our high schools, North Oconee and Oconee County High School, and it benefits our students during their high school careers and also assists them in making post-secondary decisions. The students receive an OSHA 10 certification, a Lean Six Sigma white belt, which is part of the first step on the 4 steps of the Lean Six Sigma, and then also CPR and AED certification. And after the 3 days, they leave with all of those. The presenters are from Caterpillar and from High School High Tech. Students are always very motivated and eager to be a part of this training that we offer each year for the certification. And that's the conclusion of the student service. Any questions?
Mr. Burgess?
Who participates in the Manufacturing Institute, or how are they?
It's either students that have 504 plans or special education students. Generally students who are going for a general ed diploma and going for looking at different industry possible certifications and wanting to learn more.
On the developmental screenings, how are the students, the young students, identified for those screenings to be done?
The parents just call and make an appointment.
Okay.
So that's the beginning of the screening.
Parents initiate the process.
Parents can initiate the screening. Sometimes we may have students that are in daycares where you know, the teachers of the daycare may speak to the parent and tell them about the screening that's, you know, available through Oconee County Schools, and we recommend that you attend it. Here's the number to call to set up an appointment. And we have roughly at least 10 appointments each month of students that we're screening. And at least half of those are recommended for further testing. And then depending on if they are eligible for services. So that's part B, if they've already been identified, and then they go to part C, which is 5-year-olds, and they enter our preschool program. But if we can identify them at 3 and service them, then they're under our child fund.
Anyone else? Thank you. Next, we have operations. Welcome, Mr. Ricketson.
Good evening. The Oconee County Schools Operations November 6, 2023 Board of Education report contains 4 items of information and no action items. First is our energy report. It's been updated for the month of September. Second item of information is the lead custodian meeting. Was held on October 12th and was hosted by the team at Collin Ferry Elementary School. The team discussed proper lifting techniques and the use of personal protective equipment. Our custodial teams are to be commended for their rigorous work and their efforts in ensuring that our schools are clean for health. Third item of information is construction update. First up is the Instructional Support Center. As you can see, they've been taking advantage of the great weather, making a lot of really good progress. The interior walls are being framed now. They've framed the first floor, they're framing the second floor this week, and finishing the roof structure this week. They've begun doing some roofing work on the back of the building as well, so that's coming along really nicely. Malcolm Bridge Elementary School, they started pouring sidewalks this week. They installed the windows last week. The doors are in. The air conditioning units are installed. We're going to be establishing permanent power Thanksgiving week, so we'll be able to get the systems turned on and start putting in finishes. Finally, we have a light. Tennis court lighting is installed and they work. We still have a little. They work for this picture. We have some work left. These are Musco lights, which means that we have capabilities with through the app to be able to control the lights, and there's some programming that needs to happen with that. And we've got a little patchwork to do from the trenching we had to do to install the wires and the poles, but we're getting awfully close. And with that said, these lights now, with these lights, now all of our athletic facilities, competition venues have, outdoor competition venues have lighting. Fourth item of information is the transportation update. We had 31 field trips last month, 60 athletic trips, 27 special education trips, for a total of 171 buses deployed, 17,838 miles. And that concludes our operations report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions?
Fred, remind me, what's the completion date, anticipated completion date for the Mountain Bridge addition?
May. May of 24.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have communications. Welcome, Mr. Colquitt.
And Ms. Argo, board members, the communications report tonight is the highlighted video for the month of October, celebrating our 12 district schools. for our staff meetings, Dr. LaDuff asked us what our win of the week is. My win every day is going to schools and seeing the exceptional things being done by our students and teachers. And that concludes communications unless there's any questions for me.
Next, we have communications to the board.
Yes, ma'am, we have one citizen signed up for this evening to address the board. I will read this first. The board allows 3 minutes for those who sign up at the meeting. You must be a current resident of Oconee County to address the board. Please state your name, address, and topic. The board requests that you refrain from making any disparaging remarks about school system personnel. Generally, there will be no response to comments or questions posed by citizens at the meeting. All comments and questions will be received and taken under advisement by the board. However, any member of the board shall be free to respond and make public comments if he or she elects to do so. Our citizen signed up this evening is Pamela Hendricks.
Welcome, Ms. Hendricks.
Dr. Branch, excuse me, we're about to have an update on the computer because we've had a long meeting. So
Okay.
our timer will be on the phone tonight.
Okay.
Good evening. Once again, we all know we have a great school system, and I want to commend everybody for that. But I am here, as I often say, to represent the taxpayer. And I think it's always a good idea to try to do the best you can for the least amount of cost. And I just had a couple of comments tonight. I had not had a chance, I don't think, to bring this up, but it's bothered me. I'm kind of looking at a per student cost. What are we spending in Oconee per student? I know when I moved to Oconee in 2008, we were spending in the 7,000 range, 7,000 per student. We got this nice little, I get this every year in the mail, the annual report, and this year it has a total number of students, 8,547, and then it had the operating budget, and it matches the budget that you approved. I want to remind you that this was printed and sent out. I received it before you made your final budget decision. So a lot of us citizens were here asking you to roll back the millage and lower the property taxes, but it was obvious you weren't going to do it because you'd already published what you were doing. But the one thing that concerns me is the math. So I hope somebody checked the math. If you take the operating budget amount of $105,970,180 and divide it by the 8,547, down here it says we're spending $10,497 per student. But you divide those two, it comes up to $12,398.52 per student. So I'm trying to understand, are we spending $10,000 or $12,000? That's a pretty big difference. And I don't know whether it was a math error. I don't know what it is. I would like to know. I'd like somebody to address that. Just the second thing is I went on, I believe it was September 19th, to that the community strategic planning meeting at the Oconee Civic Center. I enjoyed it. I had attended the previous one several years ago. This year, I had many friends out at various tables, and we all noticed something, that about half of each table, there were 8 to 10 people at each table. Well, four or five of the people at my table were teachers. And that seemed to be consistent throughout, and I had thought that that meeting was for the community, which I would think would be primarily parents and business owners, and i.e. taxpayers. So, you know, we were asked what's strong points and what's improving. Well, I think the #1 choice that night was to up the salaries. And I just kind of felt like those should be at 2 different times. I feel like there should be a meeting for the teachers and then a meeting for the taxpayers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would remind you that most of our teachers are also members of the community.
There are no more citizens signed up for this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Action items. Dr. Branch.
Yes, ma'am. Board, you've heard the wide area network presentation from Dr. White. We would recommend that be approved as presented.
Recommend approval.
Thank you. Mr. Burgess.
Second.
Mr. Ransom, all in favor? Passes 5-0.
It is also time to surplus and technology items, and there is a list that's been provided. We'd recommend the board approve the technology surplus list as presented.
Recommend approval.
Mr. Ransom?
Second.
Mr. Hammack, all in favor? Passes 5-0.
Pleases the board, we can take the next three items, which are all field trips, together. We would recommend that all of those field trips be approved as presented.
We need a motion.
Recommend approval.
Mr. Ransom?
Second.
Mr. Hammack, all in favor? Passes 5-0.
Lots of interest tonight around this next item, the combination oven at Malcolm Bridge Elementary School. So if approved, we'll make sure to invite the board out and provide a demonstration. I know that Dr. LaDuff is more of an air fryer man. But, would recommend approval as presented for the combination oven.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett.
Oh, well, I will second that one.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess. All in favor? Passes 5-0.
Up next is our 25-26 academic calendar. As a reminder, board members, several years ago we did work to try to have 2 years worth of calendars at all times for our families to plan. And as you heard from Mr. Kofer, we did do quite a bit of work with our advisory panels over the last several months. And so we would recommend the 25-26 academic calendar as presented. We're recommending to place that on the table. We'll continue to get feedback on that, bringing that forward for you next month for final approval, and we'll share any feedback we received at that time.
We need a motion to place this on the table.
So moved.
Mr. Burgess?
Second.
Ms. Parrish, all in favor? Passes 5-0. We do have a need to go into executive session and need a motion to do so.
I'll make a motion that the board will adjourn to executive session to discuss or deliberate upon personnel matters as described on the affidavit to be attached to the minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Parrish.
Second.
Mr. Ransom, all in favor? Passes 5-0.
Okay, board members, we'll take a few minutes to clear the room and then resume.